joined with Nicholls head men's basketball coach Austin Claunch. Coach, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
It's been a long 8 months, but we are finally talking about basketball season. What are you and your team most looking forward to about this upcoming season?
It's crazy. I hadn't even really thought about it. It's been 8 months. I hadn't, when you say that, it really has been such an interesting 8 months to say the least. And, of course, a weird ending for us and everyone else, last spring. And, I think we're just excited to get back out here and compete. We've been going now for a couple of months, and, by now we would have usually had some scrimmages, even played some games by now. And I think we're all just about ready to go see somebody else, play somebody else, and kind of see where we are as a team. It's, as we were just talking about, it's great to have a schedule out here that we can see and look forward to. And hopefully we can just continue to do the right things on our end as a program to get to those games and get a chance to play this thing out. So we're excited. Feel like we have a group, that's going to be competitive and play the way we need to be successful. So hopefully we get a chance to do that.
You graduated 3 key starters from last year's squad, but bring back 2 starters and seniors, Kevin Johnson and Andre Jones. How have they stepped up and become leaders during this preparation time?
Yeah, 2 guys that have seen success, from last year's team, and 2 guys that, of course, have earned a lot of trust from the way they were playing together at the end of last year. They set the tone every day, 2 guys that, really good on both sides of the ball, but even more importantly off the court, guys that lead us in the locker room, guys that are great in the classroom, guys that do the right thing every single day. And, with a lot of new pieces that we have coming in, it's great that they, have those 2 guys and Raji Lyons and Jeremiah Buford, guys back from last year's team, to kind of see the way that we do things. And I think that's really important when you talk about not just having a good team, but building a good program and having a certain culture and an identity. So certainly a luxury to have 2 returning veteran guards that won a lot of Southland games. So feel great to have them back and leaders in our program.
Talking about a lot of new players, you have 8 transfers on your roster this year, 6 of them from Division I programs previously. How has their experience at those programs helped translate to what you guys are trying to do there?
Yeah, absolutely. We have guys that have seen a lot of things at other programs, some success, and adversity, and just taking all those experiences from those guys and adding it to our mix here. I think it's a really good blend, and we've got a veteran group, and I touched on maturity, and I think we have 9 seniors, and of course, who knows what that means when you talk about this extra year that these guys are getting. But ultimately, we have an older group. We have a team that's played a lot of games, and so for us, we're still building. And not having scrimmages and not having kind of a preseason. Not to say, look, when we tip off on November 25th, that's certainly, that's for all the marbles. But at the same time, we've got to understand it's going to be a long process for us, and we've got to build throughout November and December so that ultimately we're playing our best ball when conference play rolls around. And so we have an older group that understands that, and so it's been interesting. When you have new guys but older guys, so it's kind of a different vibe than if you had 9 freshmen or something like that. So I think just we've done a good job sort of acclimating, but at the same time we're still learning how to play together, still learning each other's games, but it's a great group to coach. It's a fun group to coach, and so I'm excited to kick this thing off.
Talking about playing in the non-conference schedule in November and December, what do you hope to learn from those games and be able to take into conference play?
Well, I think last year, more than anything, it's a similar type of team where, again, we had older guys last year. You talked about all the guys who graduated, and I think just clearly identifying roles, understanding, playing to our strengths, understanding what we do well as individuals, what we're looking to do as a team. And I just think that's what you're looking for in those first 10 or 11 games this year, is understanding how we're successful, knowing what makes us unsuccessful. And just, it's November 25th is going to be interesting. It's our first time seeing somebody. It's going to be their first time seeing somebody. So emotions are going to be high. And so I think just more than anything, you're looking for things that translate to winning a Southland championship. And that's, details in your execution. That's, being a great teammate. That's, embracing adversity, like I said, doing things like that. Ultimately, I think if we do that enough, we're going to have a successful year.
And then lastly, just goals that you have for the team this season.
I want to win on November 25th. I don't look too much farther past that. But look, I think similar to last year, we wanted to win a Southland championship, regular season and tournament. I mean, that's kind of what we're all working toward every day. Last year, we fell a little bit short in the regular season. Unfortunately, didn't get a chance to play it out in the tournament. We really ended on a high note. We won 7 out of 8. But this is a new group, and I've tried to stress to these guys that we have to go and every year you have to kind of reprove yourself. And, this team has that edge about them and an individuality about them. And look, we want to win a conference championship, and we want to go to the NCAA tournament, but we want to win on November 25th. We want to get better tomorrow. And so that's kind of where our focus is right now. And if we do that every day, keep that focus on a daily level, we're ultimately going to be where we want to be at the end of the year.